This episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena. This is our Moon Knight Season 1 through 3 recap and our reactions to the first 3 episodes of Moon Knight. And so just a spoiler warning, this is a spoiler-filled episode where we're going to give our reactions to particular parts of the episodes. So there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so just be forewarned about that before we get started here. So if you have not watched Moon Knight yet at all, or if you haven't watched season 3 or episode 3 or episode 2 of season 1, please watch those episodes before you watch this episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena. So we're going to be, like I said, discussing episodes 1 through 3. So I'm your host Expat, along with my co-host Burly of Burly and Gaming, and Turn-Based Carl. How you guys doing? You guys ready to get it rolling and start talking some Moon Knight? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You ready?
Got some coffee this time. Ready?
Got some coffee. Okay, coffee.
So nice
not your
dark...
Arizona. Yeah.
I had that earlier.
Yeah.
Got my dark roast here. It's very good.
Awesome. Burley, do you have coffee with you this time, or that's only morning show related? Yeah.
No, I don't have coffee with me yet, but after this is done, I've got some McDonald's coffee I'll be having.
Okay.
Because that shit, I know I'm as Canadian, I should say Tim Hortons is the best, but McDonald's coffee kicks Tim Hortons coffee's ass.
I mean, I like McDonald's coffee. It's good. Tim Hortons is good too. I also liked, when I lived in Buffalo, everyone was all about Tim Hortons. And they're good. They are good, Yeah. It's weird because in America, Tim Hortons isn't popular for the most part, but in certain places where it is, like it's in Buffalo, the Dunkin' Donuts in Buffalo is like a dead zone. They were closing down Dunkin' Donuts because nobody was going there. So it's Starbucks and it's Tim Hortons over there.
Speaking of donuts, do you guys still have Mr. Donuts over there in the States, Carl, and Burley in Canada?
Never even heard of Mr.
Yeah, is that a like?
It must be a Japanese thing then. Yeah, it's called Mr. Donuts. Yeah, it's like a donut chain. So, Well, for me, of course, my drink, Sawayaka blended tea. So, yes, good brand of tea that we have out here in Japan. Okay, so anyway, Moon Knight. So let's get started. I'll start. First question to run at you guys for these first 3 episodes. What character has surprised you the most so far in the first 3 episodes?
Surprised.
Yeah. So I'm going to be randomly, for all of you video watchers, of course, I'm going to be randomly throwing some of the images from episodes 1 through 3 up here as we go along and talk about the episodes. So anyway, so what character has surprised you the most? For me, obviously, Ethan Hawke as the villain, obviously. He's amazing as Arthur Harrow.
He is, man.
He's really, really good. I mean, he walks around like he's on this mission, obviously, but if you were just a regular, Joe walking on the street there, you would think that this guy is, he's kind of like, a religious guy in a sense. You don't really know what his motive is, you don't really know how evil this guy is. So I really love how they're portraying him in the season so far, and his acting has just been amazing in here. So I'll start with you, Burley. Who's your most surprising character so far?
I was gonna say Ethan Hawke, but I'll go different because I really do like Ethan Hawke in this, but I'm gonna say Oscar Isaac with the base personality of just Steve, where he's just such a like meek kind of guy, and just being like, and just kind of just like whatever someone tells him, okay, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Just kind of, he just doesn't want conflict, doesn't want anything, and he just kind of wants to just live his life and just.
And he's highly intelligent too. He's highly intelligent.
Highly intelligent, but he's a gift shop sell candy.
Yeah. It's interesting though. He's coming into his own now. It definitely seems like he is like, he's really important. He knows all about this Egyptian stuff. He knows multiple languages. It's like he had this mental disability that was, making his life impossible to be, I guess prosperous in, right? And he's constantly fighting, like not even knowing that like he's living this other life, which explains why he is the way he is. But now that he knows, I feel like he's definitely asserting himself a bit more. It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess I would say then, because of course, it was going to be Harrow. But I guess maybe not so much as a surprise. Like I expected him to be really good, but maybe I'm surprised at how interesting I found his character, because I wasn't sure what it was. But I'm going to say Layla, because I didn't even know she was in the show. I didn't know this character was something in the show. I just from the previews, I guess maybe I just didn't notice or pay attention that there was this character.
Yeah, and
I really like her. I think she's, she's a typical sort of strong-willed, adventurous, type woman. But I think the actress is doing a really good job, and I like the idea that like she is the one that Khonshu wants after he's done with Mark.
Mark
Spector, however that's supposed to happen, like that's an interesting angle for that character. I almost think that she would embrace the idea, that she wouldn't really be against that.
What I really like about the series so far is the character building between Layla and Steven. I think she's starting to really like Steven a lot, especially understanding how knowledgeable he is, particularly with Egyptology and being able to do things. She's sensing that, he's not like a fighter or anything like that, but I mean, he can help the cause in different ways, and it's interesting, like, especially in episode 3, in the time when they have to put that map together, the star map and everything. I mean, that's when they really needed him. And, she seems to really like his character. Yeah. Much more than she does Mark at the moment, I guess. I don't know, but, we'll see how, the relationship mends between Layla and Mark. But I think that, she seems to like Steven. Yeah. So.
Oh, you know what? I should have thought of Khonshu as well as a character. He's also a surprise because I didn't expect him to have that personality, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. Okay, let's talk about what character we're the least interested in this series so far. Who are you the least interested in, Carl?
Well, I feel like we just went over all the characters. So I guess we did. I guess I'll have to say the one that we really didn't mention, which was Mark Spector. He is like kind of he's just a mercenary. I don't think there's a lot of mystery behind him. There seems to be a third personality that's the mystery. I don't know. Mark is he's not a great guy, obviously.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of an, I don't know. I think episode 3 doesn't do him very much justice, and like he just seems like an idiot. Like he's he's not really going about this in a very smart way. So I get it's if I had to say, because like I do appreciate Oscar Isaac's portrayal as the Steven character. I mean, he's much more interesting and fun than the Mark character.
Okay. Yeah. Burley, do you agree with that, or what do you think?
I agree. Yeah, Mark is just your typical, your action kind of lead, but it just without the funny quip one-liners, and just like he has very little personality. I could like it's just like okay, he's on, so we're gonna get a fight soon, or just him talking with Conchu, because like even when they're doing stuff in episode 3. She's like, well, we need Steven for this. Let him just take control. And he's like, absolutely not. And you even have Conchu in the background being like, no. It's just like he knows he needs Steven, but he just won't do anything.
Yeah, and I like the Harrow character in the sense that, of course, he used to be Khonshu's avatar. And
Great,
he knows a lot.
Super interesting.
Yeah, he knows a lot about him, and it's like he can still hear him in his head, but he tries to act like he doesn't, he doesn't want to. So,
well, I love the line because that's from episode 2, because he knows Steven is just being used, and Steven's like a poor like just a victim of circumstances, because this is because of Mark. And he's just trying to be nice to Steven. He's like, yeah, you can hear Conchu. He's like, he's probably nobbling around about something about justice and all that. And then you just see Conchu just reacting to that. And he's like, you don't need to listen to it.
Yeah. There's something interesting. I just realized that they kind of set up that Mark is supposed to be like suave, right? With, in the first episode, it's clear that Mark was the personality who got him the date with that woman.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, unless that's actually not the case, and it's the third personality,
right?
But that hasn't played out, so maybe that's what's happening, because his character doesn't seem like that. He seems kind of like a dick, and I don't think that he's good with the ladies so much as that like he's just the stereotypical like mysterious like women like that, because he's strong, attractive, mysterious, whatever.
I don't want to talk about my past. I just want to smoke a cigarette and do my job.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, as we're showing in the image here, of course, Layla gets her Egyptian passport, and I loved how they just make these fake passports. I just love to do that for myself and other countries and be able to just make passports on the fly. That was a really cool part of the episode in episode 3, at the very beginning, where it's like the woman's, the Layla's with there is, just making that passport, laminating it, and pressing it all together and everything. So, yeah, it's good stuff. All right, let's talk about of the first 3 episodes, what scene stood out the most for you? And I think for me, in episode 3, where, of course, Steven and Khonshu have to rearrange the stars, and it was like they had to go back how many thousands of years? I think it was like at least 2,000 years. I think it was that they had to rewind. I mean, so basically rewinding the stars to be able to realign it to a particular point to be able to find the tomb. So I thought that was some cool special effects, and I thought that was a cool moment so far in the series. Alongside, of course, the fight scenes later on in the episode with with Mark as Moon Knight, and it's weird how the suit reacts. I mean, and because they were sticking him with all those spears and everything, and you would have thought he would be killed, but no, it's like
well, so there was that very quick throwaway line to explain that in that Khonshu makes a reference to like I think it was Khonshu who says like something healing suit or something, or someone. I don't remember if it was Khonshu actually now, but there's a reference to the suit having healing powers.
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's. I don't think that's a thing from the comics, but
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the other Egyptian god members. Like,
yeah, somebody mentions it, but
yeah, I believe in that scene they mention it.
I think it's interesting how in that scene you're talking about where he's changing the night sky, which was really cool, beautiful, imagery. They very specifically point out that other people can see what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there was like a pan, like a quick pan to like some people just looking up into the sky in bewilderment.
Yeah. It's interesting that I don't mind it. I assume people might, if you're like a big Moon Knight fan from the comics, you might not be happy with the idea that this show is just like, no, it's all real. There's no real mystery or question about like if any of this isn't real, if any of it's in his head. No, it seems to be definitively all happening, and everyone can see this happening.
Yeah. So Burly, what scene stands out for you? Yeah.
And episode 3, I'll go with. I like the scene where they do the meeting, where he calls the meeting and they go in the pyramid and you meet the other different gods, avatars.
Yeah.
And you get Ethan Hawke that walks in there, and Khonshu thinks he's got him. He's like, "This is gonna work," and then Ethan Hawke, because he's such a smooth talker and he knows what to say, he's like, no, this is Khonshu. I was his avatar. I know him. I like the different dialogue, and then like none of these gods believe him. They don't believe Mark and Khonshu, but the one lady comes up to him at the end and is like, there's one other avenue you can try.
Yeah, and I like the bits and pieces where they're like they take over the person's body, like their eyes light up and everything. And it's like don't. It's like Khonshu speaking through Mark and everything. And
that was a little weird.
Don't trust him. Or something. It was kind of weird, but
it was, because at first I was like, all right, I get it, but like it kept going. Like he's like yelling the whole time, and I'm like, it didn't have to be like Khonshu doesn't yell all the time,
right?
So it was a little odd, but
right.
Someone pointed out on Twitter that I saw and is the same thought I had about this scene where it's like, Khonshu's like, hey, other gods, bad guy over here is doing bad things,
right.
All right, hey, bad guy, are you doing bad things? He's like, nope, no, I'm not.
No.
They're like, see?
Okay.
Evidence. He's obviously not doing bad things. Clearly.
I
was like, what is going on? I don't think that was really well written. I like the idea of it. I like what we're seeing. I think it's really cool. I just thought that I found that a little weird. So it's also a thing that I think maybe it's not what we think, because doesn't Harrow, there's a scene with him and one of the other gods later, right? In the same location.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I mean, clearly he has a relationship there, so maybe
which god was it? I think it was Osiris. I forget which one.
I think it was the guy who was sort of like in charge, right?
Right. Yeah, the guy with the suit on and all. Yeah,
whichever one he was, but it seems like they're working together on this.
Yeah.
Which then I can forgive it. I just don't think it was still written as well as it should have been, even if that's the idea.
Yeah.
So standout scene, but you said across all episodes, right?
Yeah, across all episodes, 1, 2, and 3.
I want to say
across all episodes.
He did. So you can go if you want to. I'll say something if you want to make something after that.
I'll let you go.
I want to say episode 2. The summoning of the jackal and Stephen becoming Mr. Knight. And then having to swap over to back to Mark and do Moon Knight and have the scene where he runs up on the rooftops and does a really like that was the, and then he does the turn and he does the thing and then he grabs the jackal and impales it on the, and then it gets to the scene that we saw in the trailer of him on the floor and catching the what do you call it, the little moon boomerang thing knife. And I was like, that was great. That was my like perfect ideal of like how Moon Knight action works and should work. I really enjoyed that fight sequence and that whole setup. And then even after too, going into his like conversation with Steven and them having it out was really interesting as well. But that moment that I just mentioned where he catches the moon knife thing, it was one where in the trailer I'm like, that looks kind of awkward. I don't really like it. But in context of the show, I'm like, oh no, that looks really cool because he's catching it. It's falling and he's catching it, right? In the trailer, I didn't think that's what was happening. I was just like, it was almost like he threw it and it was a boomerang effect or something, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, that looks kind of cheesy. But in the show, it's like, oh no, it's just falling because he stabbed it into the thing and it disappeared. I was like, okay, no, I like that. That's cool.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk more about what we think we're gonna get moving forward now.
Oh, by the way, this guy right here
into episode 4. Yeah, he passed away.
Yes. He's the one who passed away. Yeah, I didn't realize. And
I
mean, I got to say, kind of I don't know what he does later in the show, but in this episode, like, kind of a waste of whoever this actor is. Yeah, I don't think he was they didn't do anything interesting with him in this.
Well, go ahead, Burly.
He just fit typical evil rich guy that has exotic artifacts. That was his character. That's all his character was.
That had connections with Layla. So Layla had
his connections with Layla, and it seems like he had already kind of wanted to kill her. Yeah, it's just like I think he pretty much wanted to kill her, and then with the events that happened there, it was like, oh yeah, I want to kill her.
Yeah, it wasn't a good setup for that. Their relationship, whatever their prior relationship is, I'm not really buying it. It just seems very much like, they just wrote it because they needed it to fit in some way for some reason, but it didn't feel natural. I didn't believe it so much.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to know more information. That's one of the things I'm noticing with this show, and I think even with like reviews, like a lot of shows, maybe this applies too, but like trying to review and put a score on every episode of a show when it's very specifically supposed to be like a limited series, like an entire a short story along a longer form. It's hard to say like this episode was an 8 or a 7 and this one's better than the other. Like there's more to it that you have to consider, like what these things mean later on. And it might change something later, might change the meaning of something you saw previously. It might make it better or worse.
I would just rather see a general score of the entire series or the season, I would say. But
well, do we know if this is getting a season 2, or is this just a one-off?
I don't know. We don't know yet. I mean, I think most of the Disney Plus series so far. I mean, Hawkeye hasn't gotten to season 2. The only season 2 that we know of right now, I think, is what is it? What If?
Oh, sorry. Loki as well. Yes,
Loki as well. Okay, yes, yeah.
I think that. I mean, so far they've never announced a season 2 prior to a show airing, and I don't think they've even announced it until after it had finished. Yet. So, and I don't think that any of these were really intended to have season 2s beyond. I think Loki, you could see it in What If for sure, but I know most of them seem to be written as limited series, just like this is a story and this is what we're telling. And I don't think that they're gonna do season 2s on most of this stuff. Moon Knight is possible because again he's a new character. There's no reason why you can't continue him on a show.
I mean, you figure by the end of this limited series he's gonna stop Harrow in his mission, and then after that, who knows? I mean, maybe he'll show up in a movie or something. I don't know. But, and then when it comes to Hawkeye, I mean, I don't see a season 2, and because you have the spin-off series with Echo and that. So but so I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, honestly, I would rather see them do a spin-off series to Hawkeye with Kate Bishop and Elena. do a series on those two. Have them have to get together and do something together. But who knows? Yeah, but yeah. So we'll see. Yeah.
But as for where we could see this series going, I would just kind of love it if they did a little troll moment at the end, and it just shows he's in a psychiatric hospital, and being like, "This was all a dream," and he believes it for a minute.
Yeah.
And it's just one of his personalities putting a trick on him just to coax him in.
Yeah. That third personality, though, I'm interested to see where they go with that. I mean, because I think during those fight scenes in episode 3, when he's on the rooftops fighting those 3 guys, I think that's when we saw a little bit of the third character, I think. I'm not sure, but how far that's going to go. Yeah.
Do you think that we'll have a third costume for the third personality?
Interesting. Yeah, we could. That would be that they haven't showed yet. Yeah, that they're keeping secretly under wraps.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they're
wraps,
gonna do, and I like the idea that Steven is the Mr. Knight costume, as they call it, versus Mark's traditional Moon Knight, and then we can get a third. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It's like an expression of their personality,
Right.
But the real question, a question I do have, is what is he going to have for powers now? Because Khonshu is sealed up in stone.
Right.
Yeah. So he's going to
that episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know they're gonna break him out by episode 5, because episode 6 is your big climatic battle.
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of like just a cookie cutter kind of formula we can kind of see from what we got left.
It's 3 episodes more? Yeah.
3 episodes left, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
goodness, we've only had 3 episodes and we're already halfway through. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I want to go a whole episode with no Moon Knight possibility.
Yeah.
So if we're doing that, it's got to resolve that at the end of episode 4 somehow.
Yeah.
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 Or cliffhanger it into episode 5, resolving right in the beginning, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to have more than one episode with no Moon Knight possibility, right? It's not that I need to have the action so much as I want the possibility that he could use it for some reason.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. Yeah. So, of course, this coming Wednesday will be the next episode of Moon Knight. So, of course, we will be covering it here on the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena. So we hope you can catch us for the next episode. Yeah, Carl.
I just want to comment. I don't want to comment and say episode 3 to me was the weakest one so far. Just because there's good ideas. There's really cool stuff in it. Like the stuff with the gods I like. But I feel like there was a really weak point of this episode was going to the rich guy, right? Whatever his name is. And all of that just felt kind of rushed and kind of nonsense. There's this sarcophagus thing and we need that because it has this clue. And I'm like, but why? Yeah. Why does it have the clue? What does it have to do with it? It didn't seem very obvious and
the star map that was on the tomb on the sarcophagus. That's what.
He just happened to buy it now of all times. Now he bought it just because they need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part's a little far-fetched.
And also it's on these pieces of cloth and they got blowed up and somehow he has the pieces he needs to put it together. That's also really poorly done. And that whole fight sequence I thought was lame because it wasn't very interesting and it didn't feel like there was any danger because Moon Knight is he's a little too overpowered for for regular people at this point.
But for people who haven't seen or have never read Moon Knight comics or have no idea what this superhero character is all about. I mean, we got a chance to see a little bit of that with the costume and all and the fight sequences. I think that was a little interesting in the sense that, people actually get to see what his powers really are.
But it's already established that he can fight these demon god dog things, right? Which can
Yeah.
break down like big doors and steal, you know, like they seem very strong. So like it doesn't feel like regular dudes are going to be a challenge to him, and they really weren't.
Right.
And they could even stab him when he's distracted, and he's not even hurt by it. So like
Yeah.
that, I was like, this scene doesn't give me tension. It doesn't really create any sort of intrigue, I think, for the character. And I was actually disappointed, because when Harrow's like, I'm gonna show you some of his power, right? Or her power, the whatever, Amit, right?
Yeah.
He does the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Mhm.
And all it is like a purple explosion on the sarcophagus. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I was really expecting him to like summon or animate a mummy thing out of the sarcophagus. That would have been a good challenge for him to fight.
They're saving that for episodes 5 and 6, probably. I mean, we're probably getting to that later. So yeah, all the good stuff.
So. It would have made that scene good, because he would have mopped the floor with the regular dudes, but then he has to fight like also this fucking, you know, whatever animated mummy creature. That would have been great.
Yeah,
we didn't get that.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. With the next episode 4, coming on Wednesday. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly Gaming on Twitch, and Turn-Based Carl. So we hope to catch you in the next episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, where we will go over Season 1, Episode 4 of Moon Knight. So take care, everyone. Peace out.